I mean, Harry, we saw there, Stuart Rose saying it needs something radical. Is this going to be radical enough, do you think?
Well, I'm not sure, because its market share, which is really important if you're a high street business, has fallen by half in the last 20 years. And in that time, all sorts of fantastic rivals have just emerged and taken customers away. The likes of Primark and ASOS online for younger customers. And they not... In the old days, that wouldn't have really mattered, because you would have got to a certain age, particularly if you were a woman, and you would have just grown into M&S, and that's not happening. The 35-year-olds are no longer treating M&S as their go-to destination.
Judi, why not, do you think?
Well, I just don't think they've got it together on fashion at all. They're always, it's like they're fiddling while Rome burns. You know, they had that leading ladies thing a few years back with celebrities modelling the clothes. But when you went in and looked at the clothes, they were horrible.
I haven't been into a Marks and Spencer's clothes store for a very long time, but I have shopped online at Marks and Spencer's. Isn't the move to online actually inevitable?
Yes, it is, and they should have closed these stores. They've announced they're closing 100 stores. They should have done that probably at least 10 years ago, because these provincial stores and tertiary stores never make money. And I was told that, you know, more than 20 years ago. But people regard M&S as some kind of social service, you know, but it's not a charity, it's a company.
When you say as a social service, you mean because they sort of prop up the high street?
Prop up the high street. And with these closures, we're going to see high street values just collapsing. You know, where you have an M&S in a high street and it closes, you're going to see all the rents roundabout disintegrate, you know, go down. It's going to be very difficult.
And also stores employ many people. So, you know, this also will lead to job losses.
Yes, oh, absolutely.
Is there a risk, Harry, that, you know, they're going to alienate their core customers, though? Because, you know, obviously they are usually older. They've tried to be all things to all people, and that seems to be the strategy that's failed, because then when they have their core customers going in, they're looking around saying, well, I can't see anything that is for me here.
Well, they had that sort of very messy, endless sub-brands, the Perunas, the Blue Harbours. They have
Autograph and Limited, and you didn't know which one you were supposed to be
Well, they still have Autograph and Limited, and I never know which is meant to be the more upmarket of the two. And they still have Blue Harbour, which
Oh, is it?
But Blue Harbour, for men, just screams, you know, the worst sort of kind of dad trousers you wouldn't be seen dead in. I mean, but they have trimmed those down, but they need to be more radical. And you go into those shops and you don't know where you're meant to be looking. And they are trying to simplify them. But the problem is you can't... As you say, they're all things to all people. So you can't just focus in on, say, plus 50 customers, because they still have parents buying quite good quality school uniform from M&S. They still sell lingerie across the board. So it's a very...
So they have to try and keep that spread. And, Judi, what about the celebrity ranges? Because, of course, they've got the David Gandy, they've got the Rosie Huntington-Whiteley. Are the ones like that the way forward for them?
I don't think that shifts clothes in en masse, you know. I mean, I still go in for my knickers and bras and those kind of things, but I don't see very much else to lure me. You know, the idea is if you go in for that and the swimwear and the cashmere, I still rate those very highly, but I don't see anything else I want to buy there.
But why not? I mean, how come somewhere like Next seems to get it right, but Marks and Spencer gets it wrong?
Well, Next is struggling as well these days. I think it's seasonal. Sometimes M&S hits the spot, sometimes it doesn't, but, you know, it's just... hasn't been doing it recently under Steve Rowe, actually.
And yet, is food doing well? Because that was always the thing that clothing was struggling, but food was doing well.
Over Christmas, when all supermarkets did actually well, when people spent money, they spent them at a supermarket, actually M&S sales fell in its food division. It used to be such a cut above. You know, the days of that melting, we saw the sort of the melting pudding, and that was, you know, it was premier food, but that was now nearly, what, 12, 13 years ago, and the likes of Aldi and Lidl, clearly not as high quality, but they have those kind of one or two exciting products that people go, oh, wow, we must go to Aldi or Lidl and seek those out.
If there was one thing, Judi, that you would say to the chief executive to help, what would it be? Shut the stores quick and put it all online?
Not all online, but a lot. I think they're doing the right thing.
And Harry?
Yeah, be more radical and get rid of Peruna. its days are over.
Poor Faruna.
Faruna's numbered. Well, we'll put those points to the Chief Executive, Steve Rowe, when he comes in later. I have to say, I get in trouble actually going into M&S with my husband because I point out the pictures saying, what about this outfit? What about that one?
And they're all of David Gandy.
You're just pointing out David Gandy.
And does he look the same? I'm sure he
Well, there
can.
you
He
go.
rocks a David Gandy look.
Not far off it.
Thanks both very much.